Hey there, crafty friends, it's Tina the Scrappin' Rabbit. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel today. In this video, we're going to be creating a winter critter themed card featuring some adorable dies from the Scrappy Tales craft shop and some inking and stenciling. This is the die set that is featured in today's video. It's called the Layering Reindeer die. There are two different deer with all of the little die cut pieces that you can use to add dimension and layer your reindeer, as well as a little snowflake with this heart center. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these dies out of the package and snip them with my wire snips. For a die like this where there are lots of little pieces, I like to cut them up and put them onto a magnet sheet so that I don't lose them. I've gone ahead and cut all of the die cuts out. First I did it in just plain white. Then I used some colored cardstock and added some Copic markers for shading. So I'm going to use this liquid glue to go ahead and stack these pieces together. I cut the white out to help reinforce it and give it a little bit more for sturdiness, since the cardstock that I'm using is probably, the colored cardstock is probably like 60 to 80 pounds. It's not too thick. I did cut an extra layer. I cut out ahead in just the cream because I wanted the face and the chest to coordinate in color. And by adding this extra little cut here, I was able to do that. So I'm adding the darker brown over to the top of the head. And again, I did add a little bit of shading with my Copics. I'm adding the little ear pieces. And I'm just using my fingernails to just make sure that all of the edges are lined up so that the cuts are on there straight. I'm adding a little bit of glue to add the little pinks for the insides of the ears. Now you can cut everything out with white cardstock and color it up with your markers. I kind of did a combination here. I did cut colored cardstock, but then add a little bit of shading with my markers. And see, there you have the face and the chest and the tummy all coordinating in color. So I'm just pushing it down, lining it up, adding some glue to the antlers. That last layer that has a little bit of gray marker shading on there. And I went ahead and cut the little collar out of blue cardstock and the little bell out of silver mirror cardstock. So now I'm going to add that little tiny nose. And I do think that having tweezers or a little jewel picker tool really helps with tiny die cuts like this. And so look at how cute is this little deer, lining up those hooves, and there you go. So stinking cute. So that is the first deer. For the second deer, I basically did the same thing, added some shading with my Copic markers on that brown cardstock, and I'm adding that white on the bottom to kind of reinforce it and give it some sturdiness, lining it up using my fingernails. I also cut out a head just in that cream colored cardstock so that I could have that coordinate with the front of the chest and the tummy of the little deer. I also did cut an extra piece out. I'll tell you about that in just a second. Adding the little antlers on there. And again, using tweezers is very helpful. You can use those jewel pickers, and I like to just line it up with my fingers, and I can feel the edges to make sure that everything is lined up correctly. So I'm going to make sure that that head is on straight. Grab the little ears on there. I also cut out pinks for the inside of the ear as well. And this little nose is heart-shaped, which I think is just so stinking cute. So two deer, you can have them facing each other if you want to put them on the same card. I went ahead and colored a scarf using the same blue as I did for the collar. So here's that little chest piece, and what I did is I cut an extra leg out so that I could have the leg coming forward, and just adding that extra piece on there helps to contrast the legs from the chest. And I think that this little reindeer is just so super cute. The last little pieces there that I'm adding are the pinks in the ear and the little underside of the tail and the hooves. That's what is left. Adding the little dots of glue help it go super fast. I know some people who will use sticker paper and do their die cuts before that, and they can just put everything on like a sticker, which can be very helpful as well. I love die cutting, or paper piecing I should say, so this is really a lot of fun for me to do. And that is this finished deer, and I think he's so darn cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and have these guys facing each other so you could see what it'd look like if you put them together on a single card. Now I went ahead and grabbed the Garden Stand Animals die set. This is one of my favorite from Scrappy Tales Crafts. I grabbed the little bunnies, I cut them out, and I also added some Copic marker shading as well because I wanted to add them together with the deer. I grabbed my really super thin micron pen and I'm just coloring in the eyes. Very, very super easy to do, especially if you're using a very thin marker. And then it's just going to help the eyes and the mouth stand out on the deer. And it's a super quick and fast, easy way to do this. So these are the deer and the bunnies, and I think they're going to look great on a card together. I also grabbed my Jelly Roll pen. I'm not sure if you could see this, but there are tiny little dots on the tail, on the back, and the top of the head. And I know for the little deer, typically they are white in color, so I grabbed my Jelly Roll pen just to add a little bit of extra coloring there, a little dimension, a little bit more details. And I think that that added just the right amount to really make these little deer super duper cute. So to create my card backgrounds, I'm going to my Distress Oxide inks, my favorite go-to these days. I grabbed the Shaded Lilac, the Broken China, the Salvaged Patina, as well as the Tumbled Glass, and use some soft brushes to just softly ink blend very lightly the edges of my Bristol Smooth cardstock. I just love this particular color combination for winter themed cards, mixing the purple with the aqua blues, the soft blues. I think that it just makes for a beautiful winter sky. I love the Broken China, that is one of my favorites. The Salvaged Patina probably is my most favorite distress ink color. And I'm just going in and blending over, taking my time. I really love using the Distress Oxide inks, and I'm never in a hurry, just to build up that color and to get the blend that I'm hoping to achieve. I do hope you all had a very happy holiday and a wonderful New Year's celebration. I had a little bit of a tough time. Unfortunately, I got food poisoning, and so I spent that last week of December pretty sick to my stomach, but I'm feeling much better now, and I was anxious to get this video edited and the voiceover done so that I could get this posted. And I really hope that everyone has a fantastic 2023. I know that some people had some extra struggles, and so I hope that this is a better year for all. So my blend is coming together, and again, I just love the way that that purple looks with the blue. I decided that I wanted to add some snowflakes, and so I'm just grabbing the tape that I kind of keep on my board here, and I'm taping the underside of my card so that I could have the stencil set right on top. This is a snowflake stencil from Newton's Nook Designs, and I'm just reinforcing it with the tape. This is a magnetic board, but I find when I'm using texture paste with my stencils, I don't like to have the magnet in the way, since I kind of use my whole hand there to just spread over the stencil. I'm stenciling down to the last inch of the cardstock because I know that I want to add a snowbank layer, so I don't need to add the paste all the way down. So now when I gently peel that stencil off, I have this amazing looking card background with the ink blending and that texture paste. I just love, love, love the way that that looks. I will need to set this aside to give it time to dry before I can continue with my card. So in the meantime, I cut out a layer there for my sentiment, which is also going to be a snowbank. This is a sentiment that says winter greetings. So definitely a card that you can use throughout the winter months, which I plan on doing with the cards that I'm creating today. So not Christmas themed, but just that cold winter theme that you can use. And I'm going to have the VersaFine ink to stamp that black sentiment. That is my favorite go-to for embossing, and I love the fine detail that you get with this specific ink. So I like to do a double stamp there just to make sure that I have those lines nice and solid. I'm going to grab some clear embossing powder and go over that sentiment a few times so I have nice coverage. Then I'm going to grab my heat tool, and first I'm going to grab my tweezers because I don't want to burn my hand because the heat tool is pretty hot, and I'm going to let it warm up and run for a few seconds, and then I'm going to melt that embossing powder. And that look that you get, I just love an embossed sentiment. Isn't that great? Really adds so much to your card. So that is my little snowbank. So now that my snowflakes are dried, I'm going to grab some double-sided adhesive tape. This is a strong adhesive tape from my stash, and you want to use something pretty strong to make sure that it adheres to that residual texture paste that is towards the top there of the snowbank. That's why I didn't paste all the way down. So there you go. I'm just going to line that up, press it down. I have a top folding A2 size card base there, and now I'm just going to grab my adhesive and get several strips down there and add that to my card base. I go back and forth between the double-sided adhesive and the liquid glue. Sometimes I really just like how with the glue you don't have to worry about it. Everything is lined up so perfectly. I know that with the double-sided tape it is harder for me to get things lined up. So I definitely take my time to try to center it the best I can because I don't want it to go on there crooked. Now I'm just pressing that down, and it's time to get my little critters ready for the card. I'm using some double-sided foam tape. This is a thinner foam tape than some of the others that I have. I do like the extra dimension with a popped up die cut. And as you can see, I take the time to really give good coverage because if I'm mailing this card, I don't want anything to get bent. So since some of these pieces are very thin, and I know that this is going over that texture paste, I'm just adding little drops of glue just to make sure that my die cut will stay on there firmly and not come off. And I'm just pressing it down. The last little thing I'm going to do here for the little collar on the deer is add sparkle marker, and that completes our card. How stinking adorable is that? I just love the way that that turned out. Now I did go ahead and put together the second deer and bunny, and here is how that one turned out. Another adorable card. Getting 2 cards in there for the same amount of time as it would to just do the one. So there you have a pair of winter greetings with some critters on there. So cute and so adorable. So again, the products that I used are listed and linked in the description box below. They are the layering reindeer die and the garden stand animals. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. I hope you like this video. I hope you like my projects, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Let's hope that 2023 is the best year yet. Until next time, happy crafting everyone. Bye for now.